Today is August 12th. My name is Monica Marquez, and I am interviewing Maria Velasco, who is a program director for Intercambio de Communidades in the Boulder area. The interview is being recorded for the Boulder County Latino History Project and the Maria Rogers Oral History Program. The interview is being filmed by Carrie Sarceno. So, Maria, tell me about yourself. What is your full name? Where are you born?
My full name is Maria Velasco, and I was born in Salamanca, Spain.
So, what is your mother's name? Your
My
father?
mother's name is Soledad. My father's name is Enrique.
And do you have any children?
I have one daughter, and her name is Karina.
And what about your education? Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Salamanca, Spain. I have a BA in Business Administration.
Good. So, what brought you to Colorado?
I moved to Colorado like 5 years ago, and the reason I moved is because I was living in Seattle before, and it's really rainy there, and I wanted to live for a place that it was more sunny.
Right. And you started Intercambio when?
Yeah, when I moved here 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When I moved to Colorado, yes.
And so, what do you do for Intercambio?
For Intercambio, I coordinate English classes for immigrants, and I facilitate cultural awareness training in the community. And that's it.
Good. So, just tell me a little bit about your family and living in Spain and your growing up.
So, Salamanca is a small city. It's a little bit larger than Boulder, and it's like very popular because it's one of the oldest universities in the world. So, it is a very nice city with a lot of students, and it has a lot of monuments. So a lot of people go there and just visit. It's a very cultural city, and yeah. What exactly do you want to know?
Is it like where is it located?
Okay, so Salamanca is like 2 hours northwest of Madrid, and it's actually related to the United States. Is in the same altitude that Denver.
Oh,
so
really?
the type of weather is very similar, and the vegetation. We don't have so much snow because we have the mountains. But it's very similar to dry weather.
So, and you got your BA from where?
University of Salamanca.
Oh, okay. And what did you study?
What is that?
What did you study?
What?
What did you study? Like, what was your area?
Business administration.
Okay.
What do you identify as? Do you identify as a Latina or European?
And that's a difficult question. I consider myself to be Latino just because I speak Spanish, and but yeah, sometimes I have second thoughts because I'm not from Latin America. But yeah, I consider myself to be Latino and European too. Yeah.
So at Intercambio, so you support the Boulder area. So tell me a little bit about Intercambio and
Yeah, Intercambio is a non-profit organization that will provide volunteer taught English classes for immigrants. They are at very low cost, and currently we have 400 volunteers, and we serve about 1,000 students every year. We have this particular program called the Home Program, where actually the volunteers go to the immigrants' home to provide classes because they may not have transportation or childcare or things like that. But organization we have 10 people on the staff, but we are able to reach 1,000 students, and that's of course is because of volunteers.
Are there any challenges with as a director? Do you face any kind of challenges?
Some of the challenges we have is motivation for especially because we serve all immigrants, that sometimes Latino immigrants from Latin America, they have more challenges, and sometimes they don't have the self-esteem to believe that they can learn the language, so they may take classes for 1 year and then they drop out, and also because their jobs, they have the same schedule always, so they are subject to the schedule changes.
Okay.
That's sometimes hard when like immigrants from other countries, they are more motivated sometimes to learn, and they already know a little bit of English, so it's easier for them, but for the Latinos it's very hard.
So what do you think are the beauties and positive features of the Latino culture?
The positive features, I think the Latino culture has a lot of really good qualities, and for me particularly, I like the collective aspect of the culture, of the family being together and supporting each other always, and the history, a lot of history, and I also like the way the present focus on the present moment more than all this future planning that other cultures have.
Do you think there are any drawbacks to Latino culture? Like ways in which it holds people back?
Which people,
The Latino people.
so aspects of their own culture that hold
Yeah.
that I think it's hard for any culture to immerse yourself in a different culture because it's, the rules, the worldviews are so different, and there is this resistance to leave your culture, but at the same time you may not be very successful if you don't adapt a little bit. So I have noticed that there is a little tendency to replicate their own country here, and that's excellent because it gives you a feeling of the familiarity and we're all together, but it's not good in the sense that first, they're not sharing their culture that much as if they would be more immersed and mixed with American culture, and second, sometimes they cannot be as successful as they would like because of that.
Can you tell us about some of the people who have been influential in your life?
For example,
You know, sometimes it could be like a mother or a grandmother, or you know, or it could be a professor that you, or a peer, or
I think that people that have been influential in my life, there are too many to mention, but definitely my mother is the most important figure that I had, and she embodied very much the aspects of the Latino culture, like more like indirect communication and collective, and her orientation to town. So I think somehow I'm more individualistic, and that's why I ended up in this country. But I think now I'm starting to value the aspects of the collectivism.
have you ever experienced discrimination because of your Latino background?
I think that when you have an accent, I have never seen this openly, but I can feel that sometimes.
So do you feel like, what kind of setting were you discriminated in, like, at a younger age, or have you experienced any now?
I don't think it is discrimination, but sometimes, like, at the first years here, I was not used to say, like, excuse me, if I will be really close to a person, because in Spain our personal space is not so big. So yeah, I remember one time I passed really close to a person and I didn't say excuse me because I was not used to, and they say, and I was speaking Spanish and they say, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like something that was not really nice. I think there was a combination of the language and not following something that you should do.
So prior to coming to Colorado, you said you lived in Washington?
Yes.
So how would you compare the life there to here?
Well, the place where I was living in Olympia didn't have a sense of community as Boulder has, and yeah, it was very different. I didn't feel that I belong. And here in Boulder, there are so many non-profit organizations helping people in general, and the spirituality and the sense of community. I think it's very different.
Is the Latino population, how is the population there?
I was working in Washington, I was working in a hospital, and I was the director of language and cultural services, and we were helping, teaching Latinos how to navigate the healthcare system and providing interpretation services, and educating the healthcare providers about the Latino culture and how to treat patients from other cultures. And the population was really high. There were a lot of people from Guatemala and from Mexico. Yeah.
So is there anything anything interesting about your life that you'd like to share with us that we may not have discussed?
Like interesting, like what?
Maybe from travel to experiences.
Your childhood.
Childhood.
I think something interesting. Yeah, so at first when I moved to the United States, I found it really challenging to be here because of the culture and the language. So I went to Mexico for a vacation, and I stayed there for a year. Yes.
Where in Mexico?
I went to Playa del Carmen, and I found it so easy there to, the same language, even though it's difficult to get a job because I had the same problem. I'm from Spain. I didn't have legal documents. So I was working illegally there. And working illegally is difficult in any country. It's not just from people from Mexico to work here. But I got lucky that one of the jobs hired an attorney and got my documentation. So I was
what did
legal.
you do? What kind of work did you do?
I was an executive assistant for a hotel in the beach. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I came back. And for me it was very difficult, this culture and this language. So when I came back, I stayed 5 months, and then I went to Dominican Republic to visit my father because he lived there, and I stayed another 7 months. And I noticed it was so easy for me to find a job and friends, and just...
There in the Dominican?
Yeah, in Mexico or Dominican Republic. But here in the States, it was really hard to find a job. It was hard. And I think because of the accent, and I didn't have work history. And here, if you don't have work history or references, they don't hire you. So I found it really challenging to start being successful here in the States.
So why did you come to the U.S.?
I came to the U.S. My main reason was because I want to learn the language, and the second, I have kind of like an adventurous personality, so I didn't want to live all my life in the same city where I'm from. And then also it was because I was like in a spiritual search, and in Spain there were not a lot of options, other than Catholicism, and I wanted to explore other things. And here in the States, there are more opportunities, different things that you can explore.
Questions? So your parents, what do they do, and what's their occupation?
My mother, she's a caregiver, and she lives in Spain, in Salamanca. And my father, he's a businessman. He has different types of business. Now he's retired, but he still has some business.
How would you describe your childhood?
My childhood, you really want to go there. What do you mean, like?
Was it rough? Was it hard? Were you always supported by your parents to do well in school? What sort of dreams did you have as a child?
Let's see. I will say my childhood was normal. I think my parents were not ready. I don't know. They were really loving, but I didn't feel as supported as I think I would have liked to. But I have always been very driven, so and self-motivated. So I did really well at school. I was an athlete. I have a lot of medals and just things like that. And yeah, I have two brothers, and we were like a sweet family. Yeah, it was fun.
So as far as where do you see the direction in for the Latinos today? We've been trying to immigration reform has been popular, and so how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts around that?
I thought about the immigration reform. I think it is really needed. I think that it's really going to change things for the Latino population, and it's gonna take some time. Probably it's not gonna go from one day to another, and it's going to offer a lot more potential and more opportunities for the Latino, and I know there is like a holdback from the American culture because it's scary, to have more people from other places.
Do you feel empowered to be a Latina in Boulder, in this community?
Do I feel empowered?
Do you feel empowered in this community as a Latina?
Do you see it as a disadvantage or an advantage?
It depends. Many times, professionally, they invite me to places because they want to be more inclusive. So I feel that I have an opportunity to give my opinion. However, something that I have noticed is that the inclusivity is not there. They can accept who you are and your ideas, but that they are included, I don't feel it that way. I still feel that there is one way to look at things that is more in line with the American culture, and there's not so much inclusivity, honestly.
So as far as your daughter, how old is she?
She's 10
10.
years old.
And where was
Mhm.
she born?
She was born in Washington, Tacoma.
Does she speak Spanish?
Yes, she does. She goes to a bilingual school. We speak to her in Spanish always.
So how do you feel about maintaining the Spanish language? Because I think at times it like, tends to get lost, as time, within generations. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's very important to maintain that. And actually, I was helping a friend to look for jobs. 50% of the jobs right now require people to be bilingual. So it's not only to keep that cultural heritage, but also because it's an advantage for the future.
So are there any other stories that you'd like to share with us about you?
Stories like what?
Anything that you feel that, that you would like to know that this is going to be, touch other Latinos? Anything that you'd like to share?
Well, I would like to share that I think one of the reasons my job, my professional work has been always helping Latinos in one way or another. First, I work in an immigration office, and then I work for the hospital and doing medical interpretation, and now helping them acquire the skills and the language. I think that for me, it was so difficult to adapt to this country and to learn the language. Even though I studied English in Spain before I came, it still took me 3 or 4 years to feel comfortable. That for me is very important to offer that support, because I have been there. I have been undocumented. I have worked, without the green card, and I know what it is to be in fear and to not be able to see the horizon. So I think that for me it's very important to empower Latinos and to educate them about how this culture works. The main reason is not that they forget their own culture, but they know how the rules in this game are, so they can really be successful and have leadership positions and came to fulfill the dream that they came here to fulfill, of a better life, and so that's very important for me, the work I do.
All right, Maria, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us, and your comments will help us describe the history of Latinos in Boulder County and the difference that you're making with working for Intercambio de Comunidades. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.